Kizza.
Good to be back, bro. How you doing?
I know. It is good to be back, and a very, very special episode, a milestone episode for Power Fist in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Today, we're going to be welcoming the official launch of the Power Fist Patreon. Exciting times, Kieran.
Very exciting times. We've been chatting about this for a while, and finally thought we'd give it a go. And I'm just really looking forward to sharing what we've done with everyone out there.
You're right. We have been talking about this for a very long time. It's been in the works for a long time. People have been asking where it's been. Slowly in the background, we've been putting some content together for you guys to launch with, and now we are finally ready. So, Kieran, maybe we should just touch on why we're actually starting a Patreon.
Yeah, so I've always really enjoyed sharing my recipes and my different techniques with the community. And every time I post something to Instagram or back in the day to the forums like Bolter and Chainsword and what have you, I'd always get questions of, what colors I used, how I applied them, how I did my weathering, all of these things. And I'm always very happy and ready to share these things with people. I think that sharing ideas and being collegiate with the community is a really important part of the hobby, to create that kind of sense of community that is, so important to all of us. And I've been doing that for years and years now. Got lots and lots of tutorials that I've shared on my Instagram with different Legion colors, different things for the high elves, different basing techniques. But doing those things on Instagram has always been fairly limited, and it's quite frustrating in a way because I've never been able to do these tutorials to the level that I would like to do them, and to the level that people kind of need if they're after that kind of information to apply to their own hobby. With Instagram, the image quality is quite limiting. Just the number of images you can share. So, if I was doing a tutorial on a miniature, I wouldn't be able to show reverse angles of the miniature or different aspects of the miniature because I had to be very kind of very specific to the bits I was showing, because there wasn't the breadth and the number of images available to properly kind of share the concept and the idea with everyone. And that's before you get to like text and words and explanations and theory behind your work. And Instagram is not the place for that. Instagram's a fantastic place for sharing a certain number of images, limited number of images. But when it comes to text, it's really not the place. So it's been a long time coming, finding another kind of another way to produce these tutorials that I love doing and sharing with the community. And I'm really looking forward to putting out tutorials to an excellent kind of level of quality. And we have, you said it's been in the works for a while. It has been in the works for ages now. I've been painting models for these tutorials for 5 or 6 months now, probably, and writing up the how-to guides and the theory behind them and all of the concepts that I use when I'm designing these models and painting them. So yeah, it's definitely a step up from Instagram, and I'm really looking forward to sharing them with the community, especially with the launch of 3rd edition as well. It's the perfect time to find a new kind of Legion color, or learn how to paint faces or blades, or just pick up new skills.
Very well said. I think you're totally right when it comes to the limiting factors that restrict how well you can kind of convey your ideas and your process with something like Instagram. I mean, you'd probably get a lot more questions about, the how and why you do things with your models. But whenever I get asked those sorts of questions about my models, I always feel like a long format answer is the best way to present it to someone else. because you can really convey what your concepts are, how you sort of aim to achieve those concepts, and then really breaking down the process in a detailed way that's not only like an ABC style recipe, but it gives you like the why, the how, and the when of what you're actually doing. And like, I'm a very visual person, and I come from a visual background, work-wise as well. So to me, presenting it in a format that looks beautiful is also really important.
Yeah.
So we've actually spent a lot of time on the design of the tutorials as well, and each page is really considered with, you know, what PowerFist is all about. So we'll show you a bit of a sneak peek coming up later in the episode, where we kind of show you the breakdown and of what's involved with these tutorials. But for me, it's just another creative outlet. You know, I love designing and stuff on the computer as well. So, you know, it's a lot of fun for me to put these tutorials together.
Yeah.
Even though they may be, you know, time consuming in a way, they're still super rewarding. So having the ability to share that with the people who are really interested in what we do is a great opportunity, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Completely agree. And it's, you know, it's always been enjoyable producing the Instagram tutorials, but I've had so much more fun with these long format ones where I can fully go into the different ideas and concepts, and you know what I'm actually thinking behind the colors, rather than just
Yeah.
the, you know, listing off the colors and the technique used. Can, you know, properly talk about, you know, warm colors and cold colors and complementary colors, and you know, color theory, and how different, you know, oil paints are going to affect like different surfaces and tint different colors, and you know how different pre-shades work and all the different chipping techniques and everything. So yeah, it's actually really nice to be able to share those ideas and to try and get them out there a little bit more in a way that, you know, is difficult on Instagram. I always appreciate when I get questions about how I do things, but you know, when I'm running around during my day and doing other things, I often don't have the time to properly respond. I'll always respond to everyone and try and give them the best information I can, but it's always incomplete information and it's not the full process, simply because of, you know, the kind of app Instagram is. I don't have the time to go into a long format kind of explanation. So having these tutorials, and like you said, they're beautifully formatted. You've, you know, really used your background in graphic design to make these look fantastic. Being able to share those with people is just so much more kind of satisfying than giving people a brief kind of, um, you know, a very kind of surface level view of the hobby, rather than, you know, actually what's
Yeah.
happening to the surface and how things properly work together.
Yeah. So let's just touch on the types of tutorials that we're going to be offering
Yeah.
upon launch. So would you say there's probably two distinctive sort of types that we're going for?
Yeah, I think to start off with, there are two different types. At the moment, we're working with kind of magazine, kind of quality PDF style tutorials. There's definite scope, and we are kind of looking at doing video tutorials in the future. At the moment, we've built up quite a catalog already of these PDF tutorials that we'll be releasing over the coming months, but we haven't started working on any video kind of tutorials, but that's definitely something that we're looking at.
Mm.
With the two different types of tutorial, we have a full kind of comprehensive tutorial that goes from, you know, the start of the model. It includes any sculpting on the model, any green stuffing, assembly, things that have been altered, different conversion bits, all the way through to the painting, every step, every different kind of aspect of the model, and finishing off with the basing. And the perfect example of that, and one of the first tutorials we will be releasing is of your amazing Thousand Suns Leviathan. It's an absolutely stunning model. Anyone that's seen it, and it's it's not just a beautifully painted model. It's really subtly converted, and this is back before we had Legion specific Leviathans, and it's just like that it's better than anything that would have actually come out of the studio for the Thousand Suns. It's like,
thanks, buddy. You're such a
no,
brown
but
nose.
it's yeah, but it's like it's just subtle and like so delicately done that for a mass-produced kind of piece out of the studio, it just probably wouldn't have been done. Like they wouldn't have been able to do those kind of rosary beads that you have done and the ropes and all those kind of things. Like just wouldn't have been possible.
Can I just interrupt you there to just give the viewers a little bit of a sneak peek of what you're actually describing, because I think visuals will help a lot.
Yep.
All right, let me work out how to share my screen here, and we can bring it up.
And this will be in the first tranche of tutorials that we release.
Yeah, this will certainly be in the first wave of tutorials.
As you see this video, you'll be able to go to the Patreon link and access this tutorial.
Yeah, fully accessible at launch. So yeah, we've got our Leviathan retrospective on the whole model. So with each tutorial, we really aim to sort of break down the concepts and give detail to what palettes we're using for each thing. But like Kieran touched on before, we go through like the whole process of how I sculpted, all the detail on there, spitballing around other ideas when it came to adding more Thousand Suns-esque detail like the lapels, breaking down photos to really understand the concepts and why I did the things the way I did, and then touching on the painting, breaking down the painting theory before actually going through the sort of steps and the process of just adding the colors is really important and critical to sort of understanding how to achieve the end result. So all that stuff is in there. Painting different textures, like the marble, why I chose the color that I did using real life reference material as well. My approach to the transfers, painting the lapels and all the freehand details on there, gemstones, and then the conclusion, how I felt about the model at the end of the project, whether my goals at the start of the project were kind of achieved, and a small gallery at the end there too. So that's a little sneak peek of one of the more comprehensive front to back tutorials on there. They're going to be more irregular than our normal style of tutorials. So if I can just share this this image here from your Sons of Horus Space Marine tutorial, it'll be focusing on specific things. Like in this tutorial, for example, it is the specific sea green of the Sons of Horus and what your approach was. Not just, hey, this is how you do it. It is the breakdown of, this is what I wanted to achieve with the scheme. This is how I thought I could do it. These are the concepts involved. This is the color theory that I used. And then we show how the process was executed through that. So not only do we focus on color schemes, but like you mentioned before, Kieran, we've got one just dedicated just to painting blades and blade weapons as well, in our own sort of style. So the main sort of focus on the more regular type of tutorial content will be on those more specific things. Anything further to add, Kieran?
Yeah, just that. Yeah, like you said, we've got those fantastic breakdowns of the complete models, like the Leviathan, and I know you've got another couple in the works as well. And then of course we've got the basic kind of Legion color schemes. I've done a few of them already. Got the Sons of Horus there. I've done an Alpha Legion one. I've done an Ultramarines one. Blood Angels. I'm working on Iron Warriors as well, using the Saturnine Terminator that I painted recently, with all the different types of oils on the armor, and the different kind of browns and greens I used on the steel armor to make it look interesting and to differentiate it from the basic kind of steel elements of the armor.
Yeah, look at
There's a
that.
shot
Looks
up on the
awesome.
screen of him there. So there's a tutorial in the works for the armor on that guy. I've also done a Caucasian faces one, which is something that I paint all the time, something I get a lot of questions about. And faces, I don't know for you, but for me, like, faces are very personal.
Yeah.
I find it very difficult to explain my technique, um, through short messages on Instagram,
Yeah.
because every face is different and there are so many different little steps, and the different shades and the different highlights are so subtle that being able to make a proper tutorial, length explanation really, really helps, because I've been able to include so many more photos, and photos to a much greater quality than I would on Instagram,
Mm.
including, photos from both sides of the face, and how I do the eyes and all of that stuff as well. So it's been really good. And yeah, just really looking forward to sharing it with people as well. We want to kind of create a little bit of a community around that. I know we're looking at kind of old school, kind of bloggy kind of vibe, where we'll be sharing a lot of whips that we
Yep.
don't really kind of share too often on Instagram. It's usually pretty kind of 3/4 finished for me and then finished. So we're looking
Yeah.
at sharing a bunch of whips in early stages of models, so people will be able to see what's coming up, down the future pipelines of tutorials, give people a little bit of a heads up of what's coming,
Yeah.
answering questions in there for everyone.
And it's not also us just painting the newest flavor of the month, with what with whatever's new or newly released at the time. It's about showing whips and discussing with the community if they bring up questions of what we're working on in our own personal armies as well, what our approach is, and what we kind of do, and sharing our information behind the scenes, um, about how we bring our models to life and sort of what makes our little creations special in a way, I guess.
hmm And yeah, that community kind of feedback's really important as well. Like, we do have quite a few tutorials already lined up and produced, ready to go. But we're always interested to hear back from people in our Patreon of what they would like to see. And
Yeah.
I I suppose I have a little bit more flexibility in that regard than you do, but I'm always happy to hear kind of, if people want to see a specific legion or a specific kind of technique that I use on my models. I've got a little bit more time on my hands at the moment. I can always go and, slot those in, and those can definitely be tutorials that come out in the future. So we want to hear from people. It's not always obvious from our side what people want to get from us, what people want to see from us, as far as tutorials are concerned. We've got a fair idea because I've been making tutorials for a while, but it's always really important to get that feedback from people and just kind of have specific ideas put forward in what people want to see. If someone wants help with a particular color scheme, and maybe that color scheme's not lined up or it's not due for release for a while, always happy to give people feedback for those kind of questions and ideas in the Patreon community chat. So yeah,
Yeah,
really
it's
looking
an
forward to that kind of
opportunity for
interaction.
people to really engage and to pick our brains on certain things, for sure. We encourage it
Yeah, yeah. You and I are always talking about hobby, like, nearly every day. Well,
every day.
yeah, yeah. So it'll be really
Well,
fun
that's
to
3 times a day. Yeah.
yeah. It'll be really fun to invite other people into that space and to share some ideas and some behind the
Mm.
behind the scenes thinking, rather than just what we show on Instagram, which, like I said before, is pretty much just finished products most of the time. So yeah, it'd be really, really, really fun just to stay in touch with people and show them the kind of the whole life of the hobby and the whole process we go through.
So upon launch, we've got 4 tutorials available for people to download. Let's just touch on what people can expect next, tutorial-wise. So me personally, I'm going to get that Salamanders green tutorial out there and released. That's coming up next, as well as how to sculpt the scaly sort of Draken scale on the Salamanders, and my approach to painting that as well. So that's the next couple that I'm working on, and
I think we're going to see a lot
some tutorials from the Iron Father that I painted for Jose. They're also painted up as well. So yeah, awesome. That will be next coming from me. What are you working on next?
I was going to say we're going to see I think a whole bunch of new Salamanders, Whack-A-Manders in this edition. So people will be all over those tutorials, getting that Draken scale or whatever it's called. I've seen a lot of people asking for that color, that Salamander's green. So I'm looking forward to seeing that personally as well. For me, I've produced, so in the pipeline, I've got ultramarines, which I'm really happy with. That's a really nice blue that I've done, I think, if I say so myself.
It is. It is.
I've got a Alpha Legion scheme done as well. It's done with contrast paints, so it's much more approachable than the traditional Tamiya clear blue, and I think it still looks really, really nice. I've also got Blood Angels lined up. I've got Emperor's Children planned. I've got all the work done for the Iron Warriors. I just need to write that one up. Dark Angels will be one of the first ones. There's a whole range, and I'm always working on new things. So, I've got my traditional Emperor's Children scheme, but I've also got a tutorial for Trader Emperor's Children. Done the blades, like you said. I've done the bare faces. I think I've done an eye lenses one. So there's just a lot coming, and the bases as well. I always get a lot of questions about the bases I do. So I've created a general tutorial for the bases, and all of the bases I do kind of can be made with that general tutorial. But I will be expanding to do kind of different types of bases and more detailed bases at some stage as well. So yeah, a lot to come, and a lot ready to go as well. We've been working on it hard for a long time.
Yeah, it's a very exciting time.
Yeah.
So you can sign up to the Patreon right now, as of this podcast episode release. All you need to do is go to patreon.com/powerfists. Pretty easy to remember. So definitely, if you are curious, go there, check it out. And if it is for you, we'd love to have you a part of our Patreon community. It'd be amazing.
Yeah. There will be a free level as well for people who just want to interact and be a part of the community. And then, of course, there will be a paid level as well. So, yeah, pop in, have a look, see if you like it. And then, join us. We'd love to have you.
Done. Kieran, with that, let's sign out of here. And we'll be back to talk about some more Heresy very soon.
Ciao.
Hardcore Heresy.